This video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. I never advise that you buy, sell, trade, or hodl any cryptocurrency. You should always consult with your own financial advisor before making any investing decisions. Everything that you hear on this channel is just my opinion. Everybody's always innocent till proven guilty. Everything stated in this video is just allegedly, so please make sure you guys do your own research and make sure that none of this information is disinformation. So we're going to talk about all things Bitboy today. You guys know that me and Bitboy have had our differences in the past. I don't really know. I was trying to like listen to like talk myself up and go through the speech I was about to say, but I guess to start off to say there's two types of people, right? There's people that do bad things, they get caught, they admit to what they did, and they move past it and they try to do better, right? So then there's other types of people that do bad, they lie about it, they deny it, and then they continue to do bad and they continue to try to point out other people that are doing bad to try to make themselves look better. So there's two different types of people in this world. We've all done bad things in the past. We've all made mistakes. And there is not one politician in Washington that does not have 100 times more egg on their face. If you were to go through all of the rich and wealthy people, if you were to go through the things that Andrew Sorkin reported, if you were to start breaking down these independent media journalists that they claim to be journalists and the things that they report on, the way that politicians made their money. I mean, we have senators in the United States that have a net worth of $100 million, sitting congressmen and women that had access to insider information and were taking advantage of the system, gaming the system, while at the same time regulating and making laws. So you have sitting United States congressmen that have done 100 times worse than Bitboy. So now let me play this clip before you guys think that, you know, whatever the case is. Let's play a few clips here really quick so you guys can understand what happened here.
I see people talking about this Ryan Mata video. By the way, I want to be clear on this. We're sending him a cease and desist, and we will also probably be suing him because we never got paid a dime for talking about Costa. Just so everybody's clear on that. We never were paid a dime talking about Costa. I know Carl very well, and I like him, and I think it's eventually going to be successful. So you can't make up lies about people and get away with it. And there's people finding out that right now. Can't make up lies about this channel. I will not stand for it, just so people understand it. And so really, what happens is you have these people, they're wolves in sheep's clothing, and that's exactly what that guy is. He's making up accusations for clicks. He's the worst kind of person, the lowest common denominator. So if he can provide proof, then that would be great. But he can't because it doesn't exist. So just so you guys know, I'm coming after that guy.
So this is how me and Bitboy got started, right? So the story is I made a video that was just talking about Crypto Banner and how he promoted crap coins. And it was basically just me saying, hey, if I was going to run a Ponzi scheme, here's how I would do it, right? After I got caught, here's exactly what I'd say. Here's how I'd manipulate the media. Here's how I'd push the narrative, right? And that was Banner, and I got sued by Banner as well, too. So me and Bitboy have had our outs. And what's funny is rumor has it that Bitboy didn't even actually watch the video I made. He thought the video was attacking him, I guess just by word of mouth from people that were coming to him and saying, oh, Ryan Mata said this. Ryan Mata just exposed you. Ryan Mata just did this. Didn't watch the entire video or didn't watch any of it. And then immediately got upset about it and started saying these things without watching the video. The video was never about Bitboy. The video was about Carl the Moon, right? And what I was calling Bitboy out for was entertaining the idea of Costa, right? When all signs point to the contrary, when all evidence was pointing towards it being a complete rugger, right? And then the amount of evidence after the fact that it was a rugger, and then he came out and he said that he still believed in Costa and he still believed in Carl. Right. And that's where I was looking at Bitboy like, dude, you were doing the same stuff with Costa that Kevin O'Leary is doing with FTX. Right. It got ousted. It was obvious. It was a setup. And I thought Bitboy was the type of person that was trying to cover these things up. And now after talking to Bitboy, I can honestly tell you guys that the dude, I think, is just naive. I really think that he wants to see everybody do good. He really wants most people to win. And he's really out there trying to help people. And this is just I might be getting played. You know, I might be getting played, but from talking to the guy, he really sounds like Like, I was telling him about Kevin O'Leary before he started going down the Kevin O'Leary rabbit hole. Like, when he was still talking good about Kevin O'Leary, I was over here on Twitter like, yo, Bitboy, careful, man. You're getting played. I would show you guys text messages, but I don't want to go through our whole conversation and show stuff that maybe I shouldn't know or whatever. But, like, he's been giving me a lot of inside information. He's been giving me leads to go down, rabbit holes to go down. Like, he's out here trying to do good. And we've seen the media make their hit pieces before and attack somebody. We've seen them do it with Trump. We've seen them do it with the media. We've seen them do it. Anybody who opposes them, anybody who tries to, and he's making the mainstream media look bad. We have an independent journalist that's using his time, money, and resources, not for clicks, but because if somebody like Bitboy didn't fly down to the Bahamas, we were in trouble. Now, I also want to bring in this comp. Like, we all know, everybody in this space knows why the Bahamas government was putting out reports. We know why the Bahamas government started to scramble. Everything about what came out and what news and Tether and reports and everything that's happening in the Bahamas is coming from Bitboy. And then you have people like Coin Bureau, who had the audacity to try to give credit to Cointelegram. This one really got me heated. Coin Bureau is supposed to be the white knight of crypto, is supposed to be saving us from everything, yet he was the biggest influencer in crypto, the absolute biggest influencer in crypto, and Coin Bureau is not out here. And Coin Bureau tries to give credit to Cointelegram. I about lost my crap when I saw this last night. I mean, I couldn't freaking believe it. Right here. So Coin Bureau says, the Bahamian authorities decided to address the FTX situation only when they realized half of CT was heading to the island. Half of Cointelegraph was headed to the island. So this is Coin Bureau. Not one word about what Bitboy's done. Trying to say that the only reason that the Bahamas authorities decided to address the FTX situation was because half of Cointelegraph was headed to the island. Very funny. And then you talk about what they did with Elon Musk. I mean, these are the most powerful organizations in the world. And I thought that, like, I was exposing the crypto mafia. When was that? Was that like a year ago now? That Bitboy, when was that Bitboy video? Oh, that was on July. So that was in July. So I was exposing this crypto mafia cartel, and I thought Bitboy was the head of it. And then I couldn't do it because they attacked my, when I started exposing all these people, my Twitter account got hacked. And not just hacked, my Twitter account got hacked with two-step authentication on. They went in there, they changed my email, and I was sitting at breakfast with my son, and I got the email that, or like the text notification saying that you're, oh, it's crypto Twitter. Oh, crypto Twitter, yeah. Okay, that makes even more sense. CT is crypto Twitter, except for it's Bitboy Twitter. Like, Bitboy Twitter is the one who went down there, and it's sad to see that Coin Bureau couldn't even give credit to the one person who's literally risking his life to get us these news stories. He invited me to go down there, guys, and I was afraid for my life because of the corruption in the Bahamas, right? He is literally risking his life because they could have easily planted something on him. They could have easily locked him up. They could have taken him out. I mean, that's a dangerous area you're going to, and Bitboy was down there sticking up and hunting for the truth, right? So when I started exposing this crypto empire, I mean, I was literally, it's like the exchanges are at the top, then the crypto PR firms are at the bottom, and then they had this network of influencers, right? And I thought that Bitboy was trying to build the crypto mafia. I legit thought Bitboy was the head of the crypto mafia. I thought he was the one the main connection to the PR firms, and I thought that Bitboy used his connections to funnel in all of the influencers into that PR firm, right? And that's literally what I was trying to expose. And then they just took me apart. They came at me with their attorneys. They came at me with, they hacked my Twitter. They not only hacked my Twitter, guys, I was at my house. And when it all started happening, I flew home to reset all my passwords because that's what my manager at the time told me to do. And I went through and reset all my passwords. Well, they were into my house server. They had hacked into my Wi-Fi. They had changed the password on my internet to my Wi-Fi provider, right? They were in my home computer. Right? They were in my home network. I didn't have proper firewalls installed. I wasn't using proper VPNs all the time. It was a big deal. So as I was literally resetting my passwords to all my emails, I was doing it with a two-step thing. The barcode comes on your screen of your computer, right? And they were into my network. So when I went to reset all my passwords, they got my two-step code. And then they immediately were changing my passwords after I reset them, and I got locked out of every email except for one. So luckily, Google shut it down quick. They got my Instagram taken down. I still haven't got my Instagram back. My original Twitter got hacked. I still haven't got my Twitter back that has 16,000 followers, and I've emailed Twitter's team. I can't tell you how many times. I don't even check my emails anymore because I'm so sick of getting flooded with spam emails and stuff. So I lost an Instagram with 17,000. I lost a Twitter with 15,000. My home network got hacked, and all of that because I was exposing these what I call the crypto mafia, right? And I don't know how deep it was going to go, but I know that I don't have Bitboy resources. And after they they not only took me out, they got strikes on my channel. I never had a strike and then I tried to teach people how to expose and how to catch these Ponzi schemes because I showed you guys how to download a video or how to how to back up content. So even if it gets deleted from online, like if a YouTuber or somebody is promoting scams, how you can back up their videos and how you can back up tweets and stuff like that to a server that's on the online forever. I got a strike for that. So trying to teach you guys how to protect yourself and how to preserve evidence for the authorities, I got a strike for that and got my channel shut down for a week, right? So me and Bitboy have had our outs to the fullest. And when I tell you guys that I might be getting played, but I swear I honestly, after talking to Bitboy, I think he's doing good. The only thing that I question about Bitboy is he seems like he's going down the rabbit hole pretty deep. The World Economic Forum, the world elites, right? But then if you take a look at some of the assets that he promotes, they are directly connected to the World Economic Forum. It's not debatable. XRP has ties to central banks. They have ties to Goldman Sachs. They have ties to the World Economic Forum. So is Bitboy really here for the people? Is he going to continue to promote things that are directly connected to the World Economic Forum? And that's the only part that I disagree with Bitboy on. We disagree a lot about the technology. We haven't had our chance to talk about it. He's invited me to onto the blockchain. So I'm very excited to go onto the blockchain and talk to them about actual technology and blockchain technology because he can show you guys a lot of things. I see him draw on boards and talking about Polkadot and Cardano and all these things, and they have these branches and they're going to build out this and they're working on all these things where I'm over here going, but the coding languages don't make sense, right? Cardano has the ability to evolve because it's in Haskell and they can continue to evolve. But if you just take a look at the rate and the pace at which Cardano evolves, if they don't get it right, how much longer do you have to keep waiting for something to evolve to a point where it was supposed to be a very, very long time ago, right? Everything I've been screaming from the top of my lungs, like Solidity is a trash smart contract language. Parity that Polkadot's wrote in or Substrate, also the same way. The coding languages have been the problem from the very beginning. And now you're seeing projects like Algorand connected to the World Economic Forum, right? HBAR ties to the World Economic Forum. Polygon ties to the World Economic Forum. Chainlink ties to the World Economic Forum. Now, Chainlink, I feel like is just, I'm not really sure about. I don't know how I feel about Chainlink, but I wouldn't own any anyways. But they have really, they're probably the most widely used crypto. They actually have a use case that I actually like that type of crypto project, but they're still connected to the World Economic Forum, right? So is Bitboy going to keep going down that rabbit hole? Because I personally, I don't care what the blockchain does or what the technology does. If you're helping or supporting the World Economic Forum and in any way connected to what's going on in China and the Chinese government and the Communist Party, VeChain, there are certain crypto projects. It doesn't matter what they do. Somebody else can replicate and fork that project and rebuild it here where it doesn't benefit a dictator communist country or these global elites. Plain and simple. So is Bitboy really willing to go fully down the rabbit hole? I don't know. But I do know that it seems like he's doing a really good job. And I want to go through this video where this guy exposes him and break it down together. So let's take a look. I have not watched this video yet. So this is, when I first saw this channel, I thought they only had a few hundred subscribers, but I see that they have 600,000. And I was like, okay, maybe this channel is just trying to attack Bitboy. Like I just saw the video and I thought they had a few thousand subscribers. I thought it said 11K for some reason yesterday. And I was like, oh, this is just a hit piece on Bitboy. Why is he attacking the only one who's actually trying to tell the truth? And then I actually went through this guy's channel. I was like, wow, he's exposing the media corruption. He's exposing Forbes. He's exposing Facebook. I mean, this guy's got a really, he does a really good job. So let's take a look at this video together.
All right, today I want to begin with a bit of a story. How many of you watching this right now have heard of Icarus? For those that haven't, Icarus is an ancient story from Greek mythology about an inventor and his son trying to escape an evil king. Daedalus, the greatest inventor of his generation and Icarus's father, created wings made from feathers and wax. These wings were made to perfectly mimic the anatomy of birds and allowed both him and his son to fly. This is where the moral lesson of Icarus comes from, because as they flew, overwhelmed by a sense of arrogance and hubris, Icarus began to fly closer and closer to the heavens. Ignoring his father's many warnings and believing himself to be invincible, somehow above the rest of the world, both physically and spiritually, he started to fly so high that the heat from the sun began melting the wax of his wings. Icarus would ultimately drown in the Black Sea after his wings had fully collapsed after melting in the sun, but the story serves as a warning to those who are consumed by their perceived status and power. The desire to fly higher is not always safe, and though the story is, of course, a fiction, the lessons it teaches are timeless. Today, I'd like to tell the story of Bitboy as he flies ever closer to the sun, carried on wings made of wax, just like Icarus, before falling to his metaphorical death, consumed by social media attention and peer gratification. Let's get started. Who is Bitboy? Bitboy, also known as Ben Armstrong, is a social media influencer with 1.45 million followers. His various different channels, including Twitter and YouTube, have been aggressively used for years to promote various different crypto schemes. But more recently, in the aftermath of FTX, Ben Armstrong, aka Bitboy, has turned his eye towards a series of other exploits. Consumed by a sense of self-importance, maybe, Bitboy has been seeking out extremely hostile interactions with celebrities. He has been spreading rumor after rumor with regards to a larger conspiracy behind the collapse of FTX, and he has been positioning himself as a savior of the industry who had knowledge of fraud long before the public ever knew. All of this in a twisted...
So let's stop it right there. Bitboy is spreading countless rumors. No, let's fact check that really quick. Bitboy, almost everything that he's reported about this FTX story, he has been accurate on, he has backed it up, and he has ruthlessly sought after truth to no avail, risking his own life, putting his family's life in jeopardy to get the truth for us, right? So you can either be, like I said in the beginning, you're going to be a bad person who continues to do bad and lie, or you can make mistakes and you can try to redeem yourself. And what the mistakes that Bitboy made, I will say, are huge. And lots of people lost a lot of money. And this is him 100% redeeming himself, right? He has to do it big. This is what caught my attention. The first message I sent to Bitboy after all this happened was I said, hey, man, no matter what happened, I forget what I said exactly, but it was something along the lines of like, hey, I know we've had our differences, but the bill you're putting forth, if it's really for the people, you will have my support 100%. And then he responded, thank you, man. And then we kind of went back and forth. And I said, sorry for the stuff that happened. You know, I apologize to him. And he said, no, he instantly was like, no problem. Water under the bridge, man. Don't even worry about it. What happened between me and you is water under the bridge. He was instantly able to forgive me and get over what I said about him. He invited me into the blockchain immediately. He agreed to come on my show for an interview. He's not out here trying to hide. He's not out here trying to mislead anybody. And if you look at the interviews that he did with all of that stuff about his past that did not need to come out, but still came out as a smear campaign. And then not only a smear campaign, when he was talking about how he was in works with CNBC and they were trying to slowly release the FTX news, I think Bitboy got played. Because he had access to this information. He could have broke this story 2 weeks earlier. He could have broke this story before midterms. He broke this story before the elections, but he went to NBC. And what did NBC do? They're like, oh, let's drag our feet. Let's work. Let's get more evidence. Let's do this. Let's do this. When the Ponzi scheme was so overwhelmingly obvious, I think Bitboy was played by NBC. I think it was played by the woke media. into dragging their feet as long as possible, because in that 2 weeks period, do you know how much money FTX was funneling into the Democratic Party during that 2-week period? It was astronomical.
Modern sort of way reminds me of the mythology behind Icarus, because as he is propelled to ever-increasing new heights by his legion of social media fans, he is getting closer and closer to that final moment when the wings melt off and a lonely, naked man comes hurtling back to the surface of the earth, supported by nothing but empty air. Without further ado, let's take a look at the deceptive, arrogant, and misleading life of Bitboy.
So right there, I will say that Bitboy is getting close to that Alex Jones moment. Like, he gets really worked up on his streams, and if he starts getting too worked up and slips and says one wrong thing, the media will crucify him. So I think it's very important that Bitboy takes his time moving forward. And if I was him, I told him 2 days ago, I was like, bro, stop reporting on altcoins. That's what I would do. Just cover the news, because you're absolutely killing it. You know, he really is absolutely crushing it on the news stuff. Like, screw the XRP army sergeant leader that wasn't getting your channel any subscribers because you're just shilling at coin, right? Same with Cardano, stop shilling it. Same with Polkadot, stop shilling it. Like, there's enough educational channels out there to educate us about the tech, and I think that there's a lot better people that do a lot better job at explaining the actual tech than Bitboy. But when it comes to reporting the news, this guy is absolutely being ruthless, and we need ruthless in the news. The news used to hunt for the truth. They used to demand the truth. And if you spread misinformation, or if you were a journalist and you reported on inaccurate information, you were shamed out of this industry. Now you are praised for spreading lies and misinformation in the journalism industry.
But this one is going to $1 billion. I see an easy 100x in a matter of months for this one. If you don't get in before this rebrand announcement, you will be kicking yourself forever, or at least until you die.
Ben Armstrong is currently obsessed with taking down the prior CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman Fried. His singular mission seems to be massive engagement on social media, as he aggressively speculates on and even tries to physically hunt down SBF in the Bahamas. While doing this, he has resorted to tactics that one might consider to be stalking or harassment or any number of unsavory terms. But ignoring the emotional aspect of all this, let's examine who he was before this now viral attempt at becoming the people's champion.
So let's break that down really quick. He is harassing and stalking. How many times have stories broken out and there been an army of journalists around somebody's house, people camping outside somebody's home on the sidewalks to report a news story, to hope that they walk out of their door and the paparazzi can get a 2-second image, a 2-second photo, a video, hundreds of people outside, hundreds of reporters outside somebody's house screaming, right? So you're going after Bitboy for being a journalist, for reporting the news, and for wanting to find the truth behind the dude that just stole $8 billion from people. That's really the person that you're going to attack with this. This is the biggest hit piece smear campaign I've ever heard.
Before this tidal wave of shallow credibility, Bitboy Crypto, aka Ben Armstrong, was a scammer for hire. Posing as a potential partner, internet sleuth Zach XBT, whose work was invaluable while constructing this video, I'll link to his social media down below in the description, obtained documents that showcase precisely how the process works. Ben Armstrong, during the peak of his scamming career, would offer a series of options to potential projects, who then paid the money and received promotions. Confronted by CoffeeZilla, Bitboy claimed that he personally vetted potential partners, denying, quote, 99% of them, while accepting just 1% of partners for actual publication. In the same tweet, he simultaneously says, I personally rigorously vet all paid promotions, as well as we don't promote anything. Obviously, those two phrases are mutually exclusive. Even an idiot can see that. He absolutely did do various different promotions. Let's start with a central example from which we can build a strong foundation. This is PAMP. PAMP is a scam. Initially pumped in price to over $2, it has since gone to zero, with less than maybe a couple dollars in daily volume. Effectively, everyone who got suckered into this token after a certain point lost everything. And one of the people pushing this token was Bitboy. Now, the video itself is currently unlisted. I'll link it down below, no problem there, but it showcases a clear, self-disclosed paid promotion of the PAMP token, in which...
So, right, let's break this down, right? There is now an ETF that trades directly against Jim Cramer. the face of CNBC, the face of stocks, the face of stonks. I mean, the face of Facebook, the person that told us that FTX was literally the holy grail, Jim Cramer calling him the Michael Jordan of crypto, right? The Michael Jordan of crypto, the JP Morgan of crypto, Andrew Sorkin, right? And we know Andrew Sorkin has direct ties to central bankers. Literally, they were just reporting it on Fox News last night on how corrupt the media is. Now, from an influencer standpoint, right, that video is really old, if I'm not mistaken. Bitboy looks a lot younger there. Maybe didn't have the team, didn't have the resources. When these projects reach out to you as an influencer and they offer you a promotion and they start talking to you, especially, I don't think Bitboy understands the actual tech side of it. Like, I know he understands a lot about blockchain, but does he understand about coding languages? I don't know. And the amount of time and resources you'd have to put into really doing your research, and even the best Ponzi schemes in the world, we didn't know. As an independent reporter, journalist, promoter, it is hard to do research into all these projects. Some are overwhelmingly obvious, some aren't, right? But a few bad mistakes, a few bad calls, a few bad promotions on some crap coins is nowhere near equivalent to what is promoted by CNBC News and the type of stocks. Theranos, he was saying that the Theranos lady, this is Jim Cramer, the Theranos lady reminds me of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, let that sink in. He was also telling you that Sam Bankman Fried was the JP Morgan of crypto. And they have an ETF that trades directly against him. And he's exposing Kevin O'Leary because he's a bad dude, right? Bitboy is actually rooting out the puppets in the mainstream media that were forcing all of this garbage on us, man. He's been doing a really great job, man. It's almost sad to see like him getting attacked like this. We've had our differences.
Which Ben Armstrong has a bit of a Freudian slip, calling it the pump token.
What if I told you there's a project guaranteed to increase in price? You don't want to miss pump. I mean pamp. I'm pumped up to talk about this one.
Still, jokes aside, he elaborates that he does fair reviews with his team and that they won't promote something unless they dig deep into it, which is exactly what they allegedly did with PAMP.
But you definitely don't want to miss this one. I do fair reviews with my team, and I won't promote something that we don't dig deep into, and that's exactly what we did.
One small problem, PAMP was, by every single conceivable definition out there, a pump and dump scheme where influencers like Ben Armstrong simply served to generate exit liquidity. That term, for those unfamiliar, is very common in the world of crypto and refers to the practice where new investors need to be lured in so that prior investors, with big air quotes around that, can dump tokens on them and get out of the scam. This is exceptionally common in the industry and happens at scale every single day. For PAMP insiders, Bitboy Crypto was one of their chosen mechanisms to produce this liquidity, aka fresh suckers, and dump everything that they hold on unsuspecting retail investors. So why does it matter? It matters because Bitboy is now some sort of quasi-celebrity detective in the crypto world, and yet his past is just about as shady as humanly possible. To demonstrate this and create a sort of callback for later, we need to talk about another YouTuber named Atazi. Atazi created a video in November of 2021 called This YouTuber.
All right, so what is this guy gonna do? Like, Atozi already broke this news. This story is old, it's outdated. Every single person in crypto heard about the Bitboy lawsuit. He heard about Atozi getting sued by Bitboy, which I thought was total just dirtbaggy. Sorry, Bitboy. I know we're cool now, but the Atozi in suing me was pretty messed up. You know, Atozi I get, you know, but I wasn't even talking about Bitboy. But still, this is old news, bro. Like, are you going to report on anything new or just a bunch of old trash that nobody even cares about anymore? Because in my opinion, he's redeemed himself for this one.
Scams his fans, Bitboy Crypto, in which he mercilessly criticized Bitboy's track record, particularly the PAMP scam promotion, while also highlighting some other issues. It's an excellent video, by the way, and I'll link that down below as well. Here's the thing. Ben Armstrong, Bitboy Crypto, was anything but pleased about this, deciding that his best course of action was to sue Atazi on the basis of defamation for causing damage to his business and severe anxiety. He initially filed the lawsuit on August 12th, 2022, but after less than 2 weeks, on August 24th, 2022, he announced on a live stream that he was dropping the lawsuit. Interestingly, he said this about why it was filed in the first place on that very same live stream.
But yeah, so we are going to drop the lawsuit 100%. And I'm sorry this became public. I'm sorry that this has been, misconstrued, but I just want you guys to understand why. It's not frivolous. When someone implies that you can be in trouble from the SEC, that is not frivolous, guys. That's a very, very, very serious matter. That is not frivolous, guys. That's a very, very, very serious matter.
It's important to understand the context on this. Bitboy, Ben Armstrong, promoted a blatant scam to his audience. Atazi, another YouTuber, covered that scam, calling it out for what it was, and Bitboy decided to sue him. After the suit was filed, additional creators began to cover the issue, a spectacular real-time example of the Streisand effect took place, and larger crypto investors even jumped in at the chance to donate money towards Atazi's legal fees, which spurred, in less than 2 weeks, a complete reversal by Bitboy, who ran away with his tail between his legs. Suffice it to say, a scammer is often a coward, and Bitboy Crypto exhibited these characteristics extremely well.
So let's just say this, right? So Bitboy Crypto started to dive into Kevin O'Leary, right? He was going hard on Kevin O'Leary. And then somebody from Kevin O'Leary's team or somebody on the inside tried to send Bitboy some information that the bad people were threatening Kevin O'Leary's life, right? And I instantly sent him a message. I'm like, bro, you're getting played. Don't fall for it. Stick to your guns. Keep going down the route you were going. Literally the exact thing I sent to him, right? Because I thought he was going to go soft. I really thought Bitboy was like, I'm like, oh man, they got to him. Here he goes now making excuses for Kevin O'Leary. But he didn't. He saw past it and he went right back in at the dude. Not cowardice. Flying down to the Bahamas when you're literally the most corrupt government organization that was already caught lying. And then not to mention, Bitboy exposed the carbon credit scandal. That is the biggest news. That is how you break news, right? He went down to the Bahamas, found out independently while reporting from the Bahamas about the corruption in the government. Not only the corruption in the government, but the corruption with those carbon credits. That is the biggest news story that I've ever heard. Like, we already know that those carbon credits were a joke, but the fact that the Bahamas was going to try to use carbon credits to back a known Ponzi scheme to help cover it up is unbelievable. That's the type of news we need all reporters doing. And this guy's over here trying to discredit Bitboy, the only one in this industry who's risking his own life to get the truth for us. This guy's a joke, man.
However, let's go deeper. It turns out Bitboy Crypto has promoted numerous different scam tokens, and now, in the face of renewed scrutiny as a result of his escalating hubris, he has begun deleting those videos and hiding them from the public. Let's take a look at Lock, also known as Meridian Network. This token went from 6/100ths of a penny, very small initially, to 6/1,000,000ths of a penny, in what can only be described as one of the most obvious scam projects in human history. The website is now dead, the Twitter has been completely purged, and Bitboy has deleted his videos, both of them, that heavily promoted the project to all of his fans.
So for one, right, if there is an asset that is a known scam and you leave a video on YouTube, you can get your channel shut down for promoting a scam. You literally have no choice, if you're smart, to delete the video so it doesn't cause long-term ramifications. And not just that, if the coins are still listed on exchange, you want to delete the video so somebody doesn't go watching through your old videos and see a scam. So I get that it looks really bad, and maybe you go onto your website and you put a link and say, hey guys, I'm sorry I promoted this coin. I didn't mean to. I had to delete the video from YouTube, but I did promote this scam. I mean, is that what you do? Does Jim Cramer do that? Is there a list of everything that Jim Cramer's ever promoted? No. You know? And it's funny just watching these people try to attack somebody that's trying to do so much good. And it doesn't seem like Bitboy's, I mean, he loves the attention. Don't get me wrong. Everybody does. I mean, that's your job, is to get attention as an influencer, as a content creator, as a YouTube. Your job is to get as much attention as possible and do your job. And he's out here reporting, and Bitboy's not a journalist, right? He's not a reporter, but he's out there absolutely crushing it. And I can't stand when I see these people attacking Bitboy. And I was attacking him at one point.
Recovered by Zach XBT, we can also look at Zao Finance, a token that exit scammed, meaning a singular moment in time where the funds were stolen and removed by the criminals behind the project, where Bitboy directly promoted the coin on Twitter, only to delete that promotion once the scam had been fulfilled. How about another one? DISTX. This one was heavily promoted by Bitboy, even so far as to have an officially announced partnership between them. Flash forward, and the official Twitter account has been deleted, while the token lost nearly 100% of value because it was yet another blatantly obvious pump and dump scam. Yet again, Ethereum Yield, ETHY, where Bitboy Crypto did an entire dedicated video on the project, and the price is now down almost 95%, wiping.
So let me explain how these things work, right? most of the time, these crypto projects, they have a PR firm. So when I'm looking at somebody, and I found what I thought was the one PR firm that seemed big in this space, right? So I was like, okay, if this PR firm is this popular, there's this many big name brands using this PR firm, and I interviewed the PR firm to make sure that they were investigating. So I was like, you guys, in my interview, you guys heard me ask them, do you guys audit these projects? Do you guys inspect these projects? Do you guys do any due diligence to make sure that the projects that your PR firm is helping put on the map is doing their due diligence and legit? And they said yes. So you have these PR firms that approach you as an influencer, and they come to you with what is called a pitch deck. So a pitch deck is basically a PowerPoint, and it says, here's all the key things about this project. Here's the things we want you to talk about. They are literally paying you to make an advertisement for their project, right? Bitboy is always disclosed, and that's the big thing, right? You have to disclose it. How many times has there been a scam that's been an ad that's been run on mainstream news, mainstream media, the TV, infomercials? I mean, look at all the junk people buy on infomercials. It's absolutely disgusting what they do. And you're picking out some projects that these PR firms approach you. They're so good. They've gotten so good at manipulating the narrative and manipulating the media. They put together fake teams of people. They put together brilliant websites. They put together brilliant pitch decks. And they come to you as an influencer and they're like, hey, we're willing to give you $1,000, or Bitboy's probably $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 for a video, right? So he does 10 minutes worth of work. He makes this promo video, and literally all he's doing is making a commercial for a project, right? Like, I don't know if I was promoting anything, you know, how real actual the, you know, the amount of projects that let's say it this, the good crypto projects, that are still here today and are actually doing good things. If a PR firm would have came to me with a pitch deck on Chainlink, it would have looked just like a pitch deck for Ethereum yield or whatever the coin he was just talking about, of PAMP or POMP token, right? Like, they would look the same. It's so hard to distinguish, especially when you don't understand the technology. And that's why you guys see me take almost like 6 months off, and I did nothing but study blockchain technology, because I was watching these blockchains. When I got liquidated on that $10,000 Cardano long, I was like, something's not clicking here. I was watching smart contracts were supposed to turn on Cardano. The 13th came, smart contracts weren't on. That's what really was like, okay, I have to understand blockchain technology. So I took like 6 months off, and we did nothing but every night just study blockchain technology, study the tech, study the smart contract languages, understand the difference between Solidity, Rust. We learned how to make Bitcoin wallets from scratch. We understood, we went through the DeFi 2.0 yield farming, crazy APYs. I mean, our squad dove down every single rabbit hole. And no matter how you look at it, like, it took a long time, and it's really hard to start understanding the technology. So, like, as much as I look at Bitboy and go, okay, you got team and resources, I was able to figure this shit out. You know, a lot of these scams were overwhelmingly obvious, especially when you start looking at the GitHub, because all of these projects are supposed to be open source. And when you can actually start looking at the code and understand how to analyze the code, and then you can actually compare, okay, why is Solidity different than Rust? Why are there $14 billion worth of hacks on Solidity and only $6 billion worth on Rust? Why are there still $6 billion worth of hacks on Rust? Why did almost every single DeFi product built on top of Phantom get hacked, right? And you start connecting the dots, you start realizing that the coding languages that build these blockchains are the problem. Not the team, not the talent, not the resources, not the moped compression algorithm. You know, there's subnets, there's supernets. Blockchains don't scale horizontally. There's only so much data you can fit into a block. And smart contracts that are Turing complete, and the coding language is Turing complete, which means it cannot use formal verification. It is inherently going to be a billion times less secure than a blockchain smart contract coding language that can use formal verification. Plain and simple, period, end of story, right? So there's a lot of vulnerabilities. The main reason DeFi doesn't work, the main reason people don't trust DeFi, is because the amount of hacks that happen and the amount of money that people lost. And then now you add centralized exchanges in here, and these centralized exchanges were purposely destroying this industry. Like, we had the most powerful people in the world, the most powerful government organizations in the world protecting FTX. FTX could have never did what they did to this industry without complete totalitarian control and corruption. Period, plain and simple. Regulators were corrupt. FTX was the most regulated exchange in the Bahamas. It was the most regulated exchange in the United States. They were one of the only exchanges in the United States that had a derivatives license. All of these things you can't get without complete scrutiny by the SEC. Sam Bankman Fried was meeting in Washington with regulators. He was doing interviews. He was in Washington 3 times a week. His brother works with governments. His brother worked on the legislation in Washington. His mom helped, or his dad helped Elizabeth Warren, right? I mean, there's too many dots to connect here, and Bitboy is the only one that's doing a great job at reporting on it. I was rambling. I forgot what I was even saying.
Wiping out all his fans, and he has since, of course, deleted the video. The list goes on and on and on. Bitboy Crypto has promoted an entire portfolio of rug pulls, scam projects, and deceptive tokens, after which he will take down, turn private, or full-scale delete evidence after the damage has already been done. But we're not even close to being done with him. In the aftermath of FTX collapsing, Bitboy has championed himself as one of the most hardcore advocates against Sam Bankman Fried, possibly on planet Earth. For fuck's sake, he's even in the Bahamas right now, or was a day ago, harassing Sam at the Albany, demanding justice for all the people that were scammed. But let's dig into that. Less than 1 week before FTX imploded, Bitboy came out with a sort of apology video of sorts, saying that there is a problem with token promotions in the crypto space, and saying it needs to be eradicated completely. He admits to having done these promotions in the past, but more importantly, he makes a list of what is and is not okay to promote. One of his what works items is exchange sponsorships, and that's where we need to start looking. Turns out that Bitboy has directly promoted FTT, the token of FTX, now recognized as one of, if not the biggest frauds in all of crypto history. Bitboy said that everything SBF, Sam Bankman Fried, touches turns to gold, continuing on to claim that FTT was one of the only tokens that could go up during a bear market. All we have is this condensed clip right now. I was unable to find the original for this one. I suspect because evidence is being systematically deleted. The track record here...
Dude, this guy just tried to say, and I could see Bitboy saying like that, yeah, the only thing that's going to go up in a bear market is a coin that can be manipulated, FTX token, right? Like, he's harassing SBF. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Bitboy's harassing the world's largest Ponzi scheme, the dude that literally just tried to destroy a whole entire industry from the inside out, the absolute antichrist of crypto, the world's most horrible human. Like, I mean, the amount of chaos and destruction and the amount of families that, could you imagine being like a hardworking American or anyone and putting a few $1,000s or a couple $10,000 into an investment because you thought that the SEC had actually done their job, because you thought that government regulators and the Congress men and women that were blowing kisses to Sam Bankman-Fried might have gave you a little bit of confidence to invest in FTX, right? Bitboy's been over here making fun of Sam this entire time, joking about his curly hair. I've never once seen Bitboy ever promote FTX in a positive light.
Is abysmal, but it gets worse. Celsius Network, a lending platform that declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy early on, while myself and numerous other creators constantly warned about its unsustainable business model, was one of Bitboy's most frequent promotions on the channel. Here he is, calling it the hottest DeFi project of 2020, when Celsius is the very antithesis of decentralized finance, in fact. And this video contains over 45 minutes of Bitboy platforming and promoting Alex Mashinsky. But when Celsius inevitably declared bankruptcy, Bitboy would begin to say things like, "You can't possibly ever support Celsius Network or CEO Alex Mashinsky in any way." Basically, the perfect 180. This man is a fraud of the highest order, and
No, he's not a fraud of the highest. Bitboy got played by Celsius just like everybody else did. I didn't. My squad didn't. We knew better than to touch that. Why? Because you're giving your coins to somebody else. Doesn't matter how great the product is. Obviously, they're all Ponzi's, right? At this point, a majority of the entire crypto space is a Ponzi scheme. There are some of the greatest cryptocurrencies. Obviously, when a cryptocurrency has what was Bitcoin's market cap? Like $1.2 trillion or $2 trillion market cap on Bitcoin, or 1.7 or something. Bitcoin's market cap was massive. I mean, trillions and trillions of dollars. So if you take a look at the amount of money that left Bitcoin versus some of these other projects, and looking at a project like Cadena that we know is literally one of the most advanced cryptocurrencies in the world, it's not debatable. It is hands down, Cadena is by far superior to every single cryptocurrency ever created 100,000 times over. And we've sat by and watched the media promote Celsius. We watched them promote FTX. We watched them promote all of these crap things while completely ignoring Cadena. And if you want to talk about educating people about blockchain technology, from an educational and a technology standpoint, there is nothing superior. Nothing even close, nothing even remotely in the same ballpark. and we watched them cram, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. Everybody's like, why is nobody talking about Cadena? Why is nobody talking about Cadena? And I'm like, I'm telling you guys, when you start talking about Cadena, you admit that all these Ponzi's are Ponzi's, period, right? They're not going to be able to deliver what they say they're going to deliver. Global real-world adoption, not one of these blockchains could even support tweets per second, let alone global adoption of digital assets on a global scale. There is only one blockchain that could even come close, fractional close to do that in a decentralized way. Now, there's other blockchains that might be able to do it with ZK rollups and snarks and doing all this stuff. But when you're a proof of stake blockchain and you have a majority of the wealth is controlled by one group of people, they're always going to control the vote. What could go wrong? I mean, what could go wrong? Everything. So when you start looking at projects like Cadena that are down 90 something percent, 98% from all time high, and you start looking at everything in this industry, just like Cardano was down 99% in 2018 or 2019, like it just happens to this industry. And what's even more crazy is we have to get away from all of this corruption, and Bitboy's on the right track. But I think he's trying to like stop with the FTX, where I'm like, no, dude, it's not just FTX. It's all these hedge funds. It's the hedge funds. It's these exchanges. It's everything in crypto. We have a freaking pedo is the head of the Bitcoin Foundation, literally, or he's high up in the Bitcoin Foundation. Look into the dude that Brock Pierce. Look into what charges he's been accused of and the stuff that he's gotten away with or was allegedly didn't do or charges were dropped. It's disgusting. So you have a pedo on the head of the Bitcoin Foundation. Every exchange was corrupt for the most part. Binance is looking like literally one of the only exchanges that is actually somewhat legit. We have people like Brian Armstrong and Sam Bankman Fried, and then somehow CZ as well, listing tokens like, what was that token that they just listed that I did a video on? Aptos, right? I told you guys exactly what was going on during the Aptos video. Check this out. I've been screaming Solana was a scam. I've been screaming not to sell Polkadot at 52 cents. I was screaming sell Chronos. I was screaming sell all of these Ponzi schemes. And nobody wanted to listen. I mean, a lot of people wanted to listen, but, you know. Like, just listen to this video for a second. All right, what up, YouTube? We're going to dive deep into it. Aptos, is this coin going to 2x, 5x, or just fall off a cliff? This is probably one of the worst crypto products I've ever seen, and it's being force-fed down your throat by Coinbase and FTX. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Ready? Let's dive deep. Let's start off with an article by CoinDesk. In defense of Aptos, aka crypto's punchline this week, the much anticipated blockchain by ex-Facebook employees was off to a rocky start. Its token had dropped by about 50% in the first 24 hours of trading, and the crypto network that boasts a potential 100,000 TPS was only doing about 4 TPS. So their project launched with a $2 billion valuation, and it is now down to $956 million. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can see this part by Kobe. So you guys all know Kobe on Twitter. Kobe, a semi-pseudonymous market commentator who is something of a crypto moral conscience, had serious apprehensions that the basic facts about Aptos token scheme, like the token supply and initial distribution, were not revealed before the APT token was listed on exchanges like FTX and Coinbase. Now, if we swing over here to the Aptos website, if you just take a look at this thing, I mean, dude, how does a project have a $2 billion market cap and a website that looks like a first grader built it? I just don't even believe that these people even worked at Facebook. This is the worst. What is this? What is going on? So many people have been blowing up my chat about Aptos. Dude, look what FTX and Coinbase are doing. Even Binance in this instance. These centralized exchanges that are in bed with the regulators that are forcing all of these crypto regulations that are good for the people down our throat. It blows my mind. What are they? I feel like Sam Bankman Fried and Coinbase are literally purposely sabotaging this industry. That's how I feel about it. You know, what's funny is these centralized exchanges are making all this money, and then they're force feeding us this line of hot garbage like these are good investments. If you wanted to regulate this industry, simple. Hold centralized exchanges accountable for the assets that they list. Plain and simple. It's like Coinbase and FTX are doing everything in their power to purposely destroy this industry by listing just garbage projects. Literally a $2 billion market cap on this thing. This is going to be the shorting opportunity of a lifetime. Let's pull it up in the charts. I mean, this might be one of the greatest shorting opportunities of a lifetime. This asset is valued at a market cap of, this asset currently has a market cap of $987 billion. There is absolutely no data over here on CoinMarketCap. Jeez, oh Pete's. I think this is a shorting opportunity. See, they're all scams, guys. It's these centralized exchanges that are promoting these crap coins. We were calling it out way before it happened. It was overwhelmingly obvious. We told you guys, right, exactly what was going to happen, word for word. We were screaming that Ethereum, the problem with Ethereum was never proof of stake versus proof of work. The problem was that they couldn't scale, and the reason they couldn't scale was because their coding language was Solidity, plain and simple. It didn't matter if they switched over to 2.0. We said that it was going to make Ethereum centralized. We said it was going to make things worse. We said that they were never going to unlock your Ethereum from Coinbase. We said that they were holding it hostage, and they did hold it hostage. And then we still got this bozo over here trying to call out Bitboy for reporting the news. Let's get back to this one more time.
Fully recognize that he is most likely too stupid to adequately respond here and might file a lawsuit as he did with Atazi, but let's discuss that angle as well. Remember, Atazi highlighted instances where Ben Armstrong, BitBitch Crypto, exposed his audience to paid advertising on scam projects for his own benefit, and the response was to sue him for defamation, but the truth is not defamatory. Anyway, however, more recently, Bitboy has been relentlessly attacking Kevin O'Leary, a host of Shark Tank, the famous show, for his involvement with FTX and his defense of Sam Bankman Fried. Whether or not you believe that Kevin O'Leary was involved, whether or not you believe that Sam Bankman Fried should be stalked, harassed, imprisoned, what have you, Bitboy decided that attacking Kevin O'Leary was so important, he'd stoop down to this. It turns out that Kevin O'Leary's wife, as per the police report and court documents, was found not guilty after a boat crash resulted in the deaths of 2 people. Whether or not Kevin was really the one driving the boat, as Bitboy alleges numerous times, whether or not the other boat was actually driving with no lights on, which is illegal and makes it harder to see, whether or not the entire thing is some elaborate conspiracy or not, Mrs. O'Leary, not Kevin himself, was charged with a crime and found not guilty by a court of law. What does Bitboy do? Takes to social media saying, quote, "The fact is Kevin O'Leary is a murderer," end quote. Now, unlike the frivolous bullshit lawsuit levied by Bitboy against Atazi, that right there actually is defamation. In a long, drawn-out, and mostly one-sided feud with a business mogul, Bitboy is now making factual claims that the person is a murderer.
That is not frivolous, guys. That's a very, very, very serious matter.
When court documents, evidence, and judge ruling have clearly outlined, for the purpose of legality here, that Kevin O'Leary was not driving the boat, his wife was innocent of manslaughter, of what she was accused, and that the case should be dismissed. That right there is Icarus flying way too close to the goddamn sun. Here's a bonus. As if pushing Celsius Network wasn't enough, only to turn on it after Chapter 11 bank.
So let's talk about the Kevin O'Leary gossip. Kevin O'Leary, I've been calling out Kevin O'Leary for a very, very long time for the projects that he promotes. So let's talk about the crypto assets, the type of guy that Kevin O'Leary is, right? The guy runs a validator. And if you guys haven't watched any of my videos on how validators work, these big VCs, they invest early. They get a percentage of tokens. Kevin O'Leary probably doesn't even actually put his own money into these projects. His face is big enough. His clout is big enough. He is most likely given tokens, right? He is running a Polygon validator. Tell me one person that you know that's running a Polygon validator besides Kevin O'Leary. I don't know any. Do you? Can you run a Polygon validator? I don't think so. But don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure of it, right? I'm trying not to blink like that weird dude. These VCs run these validators. So they're like a miner that you never have to upgrade, that barely uses, I think a validator uses what, like $6 worth of electricity a year. So these guys, these big VCs, they run these validators, and that's how proof of stake Ponzi schemes run. Every single big important person, including people on their team, are running validators. So every time a new block is minted, these validators are getting coins. Every time a transaction takes place, these validators are getting coins, right? So these big VCs, they just use their face most likely, or they put in a little bit of money. They get a lot of coins. They take those coins, they put them in a validator, and that validator turns into a proof of stake miner that continuously makes them money and more and more money. If you look at my videos on Solana and you see exactly how much money over the next 5 years these VCs would make if Solana just went back to a new all-time high, based off the amount of coins that their validators are going to make. A lot of these proof of stake blockchains have like 20, 100, 30, 50, 1,000 validators. And you're talking about divvying up like $66 billion between like 100 or 1,000 validators. I mean, the stakes have never been higher for these proof of stake Ponzi schemes to succeed. And they make the VCs and the team and the exchanges, all these exchanges run validators for these cryptocurrencies, especially if they have a BTC pair or a KDA pair or a ETH pairs or an algo pairs, right? They have to be running validators, right, to have those paired assets. And almost every exchange does. And they're all running validators. So these exchanges make free coins every day. And then they take those coins and they sell them to you. So these exchanges that are out of crypto, they not only take your crypto, but they're also running validators and they're making crypto. And they still don't have enough crypto for proof of reserves. Do I consider, Envy says, do I consider ADA staking a Ponzi? No, I don't. Delegated proof of stake on Cardano is really unique. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't, like we even though that it's called delegated proof of stake and it incentivizes people to divvy up their assets. So like if you're Charles Hotchkiss, what is it, like 1 million coins of Cardano is the max that they want staked in a pool, or $1 million worth of Cardano? I don't know what it is. But it doesn't stop the fact that Charles Hotchkiss could have 20 different wallets and have the max amount of coins staked in every pool and running 20 different pools. We just don't know. And not that that's a bad thing. Out of all proof of stake projects, Cardano's done it the best. But I could sit here and talk about their coding languages. And if you actually talk to people on other blockchains or people that worked at Haskell or worked for Haskell, like the head of the Haskell Foundation, looked at Cardano's smart contracts and Plutus and everything that they had going on Cardano. And this was like, I don't know, this is why we were telling you that the Cardano upgrade wasn't going to work. Like, or it wasn't going to be done on time. It was going to be, it was a complete dumpster fire. And this was like, what, 2 months before the Cardano upgrade was supposed to happen. And then it kept getting pushed back and pushed back. We knew that that wasn't going to go off as planned 2 months in advance ahead of everybody, because we had somebody that used to be one of the heads of the Haskell Foundation in here explaining to us all of the issues with Cardano, and they turned out to be true. So if you actually understand how to read the smart contract coding language and you actually investigate and learn what the actual real coding issues are at Cardano, it was overwhelmingly obvious that they weren't going to work on time. But if you're taking Charles Hotchkiss' word for it, or you're just interviewing somebody that works at Cardano and taking their word for it versus actually understanding how to read the smart contracts and understand the coding languages and actually dive into what's actually happening from the inside, you're only going to be repeating what other people are telling you, and those people are telling you exactly what they want you to hear. That's why I say it's so important, and why I've been trying so hard to teach you guys about actually reading GitHub, getting on GitHub, understanding the coding language, understanding the team, how to actually vet out and use GitHub to see who's actually working on the project. Because then their usernames a lot of times match their LinkedIn, or you can actually see. So like when you're telling me this engineer is the greatest engineer in the world, well, his GitHub is like his badge of honor. Let me show you what I mean. Well, let's finish this video, then I'll show you what I mean.
Bankruptcy was declared, thus investors had all of their funds frozen, or defaming a business mogul with literally murder accusations, promoting scam token after scam token after scam token, and even pushing FTT as he rebrands himself as a crypto savior. Bitboy also decided it would be a good idea to plagiarize content for his YouTube channel. Exposed by a journalist named Vince, no idea how to pronounce that last name, on Twitter, Bitboy had taken his prediction article, word for word here, not inspired by or quoted, stolen with precision, and voiced it inside his own video about a project called Tezos.
Tezos is a blockchain that has never operated on the proof-of-work protocol. As a result, the proof-of-stake environment that Tezos is built is far more robust than the current state of creating new Ethereum via proof-of-work. The other big thing to mention here is Tezos' applications, teams, and projects are traditionally centered around security and audit of smart contracts. The proof-of-stake elements of Tezos are no exception. Staking your Tezos is extremely easy to do and can be done both from a personal wallet or from an exchange such as Coinbase or Kraken.
All right, so I'm not going to go anymore here, but...
So I've done that as well, right? What Bitboy is doing there, what Bitboy's team did, they were trying to make a video on Tezos. They went to several different websites. They grabbed pieces of information and they put together a thing. And Bitboy forgot to quote the source, right? I've done that so many times. And now Bitboy also has a team of people, right? So he had teams of people that could have been making sure that that script wasn't plagiarized like it was, or he could have gave proper credit, right? That little mistake right there, when you're literally trying to just teach people about a blockchain and you take a few sentences from other people's work and you put it together. I try so hard to give credit, but I'm a one-man team. I'm doing this all by myself. And I'm sure I've made that mistake before. BC in the Matrix, what up, homie? Thank you guys so much for the support. Who else just said something there? Oh yeah, Envy. So I wouldn't say Cardano is a Ponzi scheme. I just say that Cardano, the technology is so slow to evolve that, I mean, now's the time. Like, Cardano really caught a break here, but they really need to get together. They really do. They need a tech that can scale. Their gas fees are high. The smart contract coding language is Haskell, so it's really able to evolve, but it's not customized. Where Cardano like took Haskell and then they simplified it. They made it human readable. They made so many things better with Pact, and they have formal verification. So there's just, it's night and day, levels above the other. And they can do it in a decentralized way where no matter how you look at Cardano, you kind of got to assume that the people, the highest people at the highest levels have a majority of control and influence in the market. Like if Charles Hotchkiss wants to change something, he has the ability to rally the community behind him. He has a lot of coins, so he has a lot of the ability to sway a lot of the vote. And a lot of people just don't vote, you know? It's sad to say. And then when you're staking your coins, you're also staking them with a delegator. So you're actually giving those coins to another person, and then your votes are, and that person's supposed to vote the way that you want. But there's no saying that that person last minute can't take $100,000 in his back pocket and vote against you. You know, it just is what it is. So everybody's made these mistakes promoting videos like this and writing scripts. Period.
I needed to make this video.
Joe Biden, our sitting president, plagiarized a presidential speech. Put that into context. So you're going to give Bitboy a hard time for plagiarizing? Look at our news and media outlet. Look what they do every day. Look at our president.
Needed to call this guy out. This guy just blatantly plagiarizes people. I don't know who else he's done it to, but I know as someone who just wrote their first piece of content on this subject, that this guy just blatantly plagiarizes people. So I hope this message gets out there and people can make their own opinions about it.
So this dweeb over here writes his first piece, right? Like he's this award-winning author. He writes a piece and Bitboy used it, right? After that happened, Bitboy came out. He publicly apologized. He invited the dude on his show to do an interview, and the dude like wouldn't let it go. He's, oh, you owe me an apology, you owe me this, you owe me that. Like this guy was like, gimme, because you wrote a freaking letter about a crypto project. And I wonder if you actually went back and broke into that dude's letter and that dude's research and see how many things that dude plagiarized that were already in that letter. So Bitboy like plagiarized a letter that may not have been plagiarized, right? It's so freaking funny, and it's so crazy to watch these guys. This is the most pathetic puff piece I've ever seen.
Thank you.
In the grand scheme of things, by itself, people might not think it's a big deal. Bitboy Crypto, Ben Armstrong, is unhinged. Think about this in context. A YouTuber who previously took tens of thousands of dollars per project to promote tokens starts wholesale deleting the videos, promotions, tweets, and articles that pertain to the scams after the scam has absconded with the cash. That same influencer fires off baseless lawsuits when called out for such behavior under the guise of defamation, while going on to state as a fact that business mogul Kevin O'Leary is a murderer because of a settled court case where his wife was found not guilty. In addition, he plagiarizes content, offers stone-cold guarantees of financial return, despite the fact he is not a registered financial advisor, and yet the tokens that he claims are 100% moonshot, get-rich-quick options perform like this. His entire video library is a goldmine of incriminating behavior. Dozens of the worst projects in the entire space were relentlessly promoted by him for personal gain, resulting in untold damage to investors. Now he is traipsing across the world to get kicked out of hotels as he tries to hunt down another crypto scammer, takes one to know one, and cement his place as some sort of credible, altruistic crypto Batman.
Altruistic. Now Bitboy's altruistic. Bitboy's altruistic. This is the most pathetic puff piece I've ever seen, or hit piece I should say, on somebody that's actually out there trying to do good. Now this might burn me, I don't know. But from the conversations that I had with Bitboy, I honestly tell you guys, he seems like a good guy. And I know they probably say that about FTX, but like, look what he's doing. Look at the truth that he's trying to uncover. Look at how deep and how much he's putting his own life at risk to find the truth. You know? What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about it? And I'll show you guys how to look into GitHub here really quick too. All right. I've tried to give you guys honest information. I've tried to be here every time I could. I've tried to give you guys I always give you guys my honest opinion, right? And watching some people in this industry try to attack Bitboy when he's literally doing what the mainstream media should have been doing a long time ago, right? Instead of, maybe if Andrew Sorkin and Kate Rooney were actually over here digging into FTX. I mean, she flew down to the Bahamas. She was getting tours of his office. She was right outside of his Corolla. And Kate Rooney didn't look around the office and wonder, where are all these employees at? Show me your accounting department. Show me your lounge. Show me your break room. Show me your order book. Show me anything that can support that FTX is a legit business. They couldn't show anything but the dude's Toyota Corolla and the outside of his business and a photo of him sleeping on a beanbag. Because if you would have turned any page, if you would have looked around any corner, if you would have did the littlest bit of journalism, you would have realized that FTX was a complete Ponzi scheme, plain and simple. And now you're attacking somebody that's trying to expose not just that Ponzi scheme, but a million other ones. And I saw the stuff about Kevin O'Leary, and you guys, somebody said it really well here. I think we can agree that the murder claim was over the top. Underscoring associations with actions leading to a person's death would have been sufficient. Not a Kevin O'Leary fan, by the way. I agree, right? So two people lost their life, right? There was drinking was possibly involved, right? Doesn't matter. Just because a court found somebody not guilty, right? We don't know the whole story of that court case. So I don't want to, you know, they found him not guilty. So that's the law, right? As of now. But that does not mean that that investigation cannot be reopened. It does not mean that story cannot be re-looked into. Well, I think it can. Yeah, it can. It can. You can't get double jeopardy. I don't know about in Canada, but in the United States, yeah, you're probably not guilty. So I don't really know. So GitHub is rich, right? So this is where I always have had my differences with Bitboy, is the fact that GitHub tells you a lot and you can find out a lot. I didn't know how to read it before. I still don't really know how to read it, but I can show you guys a little bit about what I do know, and it'll probably help you. So if we take a look at a coin like, let's do the one that I think's becoming a influencer shill piece is VRA. Now this is just my opinion. None of this is fact. But if we come over here and we search something like Flux. Now Flux is, I can almost guarantee you that Flux's GitHub was updated in the last 24 hours. So if you come over to CoinMarketCap and you search Flux and you come over here to source code, right? When you're an open source crypto project, your code is open source, meaning that every update, every modification is made in real time and anybody can view it as it's happening. They can also contribute to the project. So you click on Flux and you open up, this is their public. We have Flux Public, the Flux Daemon, and we have the domain manager. So these are their repositories. There's a bunch of different repositories here. Again, a lot of this is above my head, but if I click on, say, Flux Public, we should see updates in the last 24 hours. Updated yesterday. Perfect, right? You can never get onto Flux's GitHub, and I tell you, you're always going to see updates. I mean, if we were to search every single day, I mean, right here, there's 3,320 comments. And if 3 years ago, 15 days ago, 2 years ago, 7 months ago, yesterday, you just keep scrolling down here. I wish I could filter by order. There is constant updates over here. And if we come over here to this one, updated 25 days ago, last month. You hear people saying this is the bear market for builders. It's true. This is the bear market. Your team should be going ham. Updated yesterday. I mean, you just scroll through here and you actually look at all of these updates. Flux is absolutely crushing it. This is 216 comments over here. That was the 216 one. This one over here, comments 25 days ago, 12,978 updates, upgrades, contract audits, right? This is what you want to see. Now, if we take a look at something like VRA that all these big famous influencers have been shilling, and you look at some of the coins that Banter was promoting, oh my gosh, I'd eat them alive, dude. I would like literally eat those projects alive within 2 seconds. I could tell that it was a complete blatant Ponzi scheme. Gosh damn it, man. Take a look at something like VRA. We come over here to the source code. I take a look at their smart contracts. Last updated, VRA's smart contracts was last updated on May 19th of 2018. 2018. Haven't touched the code. Maybe their smart contracts don't open, right? What about documents? Last updated on August 11th. But that was when I first started calling them out. Right after I first started calling them out, they made some stupid update, right? Which was 11 months ago. But before that, it hadn't been updated in 4 years. So the documents that people use to build, they use to interact, they need information about coding and all that stuff. All their documents hadn't been updated in 4 years. And they were updated 11 months ago. And I bet you if you look at that update, it's just some freaking goofy stuff. The token contracts last updated in 2019. When I say VRA looks like a ghost town, last updated in February of 2021. Well over a year and a half ago. I mean, like nobody's been, from the looks of it, from GitHub, it looks like nobody's touched VRA. It looks like nobody's interested in VRA. It looks like nobody wants anything to do with VRA. But if you take a look at what VRA does have, is VRA has a $28 million market cap. So if I'm a shady influencer, this is the type of coin I'm looking at. It has hype behind it. It's popular. Everybody knows about it. Whether it has tech or it's doing anything, it doesn't matter. All that matters is only 9% of coins are out in circulation, and the market cap is 28 million. So if I really wanted to be shady, I would pack my bags on VRA right now. I would go and make a video that says VRA's got this new upgrade coming out. Their proof of view technology is going to revolutionize. All the bots are going to be done. It's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. When in reality, it looks just like a pump and dump scheme. Not even a pump and dump scheme. It looks like a really well executed way to manipulate and suck money out of retail investors. But I don't know anything about VRA. I know that when I put out a video saying that they were going to release another 110 million coins out into circulation, everybody told me I was an idiot and VRA wasn't going to release all those coins. Well, look at what we have over here right now. VRA's max supply is 110 million, right? So these projects their validators run out of coins. They run out of ways to pay to keep the Ponzi scheme going. And what does every proof of stake project do when they hit their max supply and they need to keep the resources going? They increase the max supply. And that's why I say things like Phantom are going to be the next to go. I mean, you just search into Phantom for a few seconds and you start looking into the Phantom and look at all the hacks. I mean, it's overwhelmingly obvious that the project's probably going to zero. So, that's just my opinion on Bitboy. I think the guy's doing good. Crypto Banner, I think, is the worst of them all. Him and Carl the Moon, like those are people I would not I don't care if Crypto Banner was in the Bahamas. I would be not giving the dude a pass, right? But Bitboy, doing great, crushing it. I mean, he's made some mistakes. We all have made mistakes. We've all been, we've done things we're not proud of. And, this industry changes so fast. And as an influencer, as a creator, as somebody that believes in blockchain technology, you just get over your head where you're like, you're wanting to teach people about the technology. A lot of these projects sound really cool and you actually think they're doing great things when you're just getting played. Like, it's so hard to tell when you're getting played in this industry and when you're not getting played. And that's why I took those 6 months off and I was like, I can't keep shilling random projects that I don't know anything about. I have to learn how the technology works. I have to learn how blockchains work. I have to learn how to do research, right? Because I want you guys to all win with me. I don't want you guys to lose money. I don't want to, be promoting obvious scams, right? That I could have seen from a mile away, or anybody that wanted to do any type of research could have seen, I mean, Shiba seems like it was the perfect ploy for shady people to make billions. I mean, Shiba's involved with the World Economic Forum. Shiba made a post saying, should we get involved with the World Economic Forum? Should be a dunzo, guys. So I love you guys. We'll jump on my main channel right now. Let's do that right now. Let's jump on my main channel. Give me 2 seconds. Let me start up another live stream here for you guys. And let me share the link here really quick. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about it? How do you guys feel about Bitboy? Drop a 1 in the comments if you think he's redeemed himself. I mean, the guy's had hit pieces by the mainstream media.